City, Michigan Cougar football. Tonight, the Garden City Cougars take on the Edsel Ford Thunderbirds. Hi, everybody. This is Dan York along with Ted Fournier as we get ready to bring you our first broadcast of Cougar football for 2012. And Ted, Garden City is coming off their first playoff run in 10 years, a 6-3 regular season for the Cougars, a disappointing loss against Allen Park, but this Garden City football team building towards a program here at Garden City High School.
Dan, did I mention it's hot outside?
We'll talk about that in a minute.
Well, tonight's story is basically this Cougar team in the third year Coach Murray's reign has got their dream, and their dream is to get back to the playoffs and win their first game, win their second game. They believe they're a playoff team. They had a great start last week against Detroit Western. They got another break because they have a second victory already, because we'll talk about it more. There's a forfeit in the league. So they have played one game. They have two victories, and they want to make halfway to the playoffs tonight, and that's the game story. This team believes it's a playoff team, and they can prove it a little bit more today against Edsel Ford.
The Cougars lost some major two-year starters last year, one of those being Tyler Steele, who's now the quarterback at Concordia College, just on the other side of Ann Arbor. They lost some linemen, but they still have a lot of experienced players coming back to this football team.
I talked to a couple of the coaches earlier this week, and the one word they all said was speed. We have some speed. We're going to utilize our speed. The second thing tonight, this is the second game of the year. Your biggest improvement is always between game one and game two. Last week, Coach Murray, not happy. The ball hit the ground 4 times. One was turned into a touchdown, but the ball hit the ground 4 times. And when I talked to him Tuesday night, that's all he kept telling me. The ball hit the ground 4 times. We're not going to do that tonight.
Edsel Ford with a 27-7 win over Sterling Heights High School last week. One of their ball players ran 2 punt returns back for touchdowns. So that's the story in that game. So both of these teams playing some lesser opponents in their opener. This will be quite a test for both of these teams tonight. This is a crossover game in the conference. This is not a divisional game. Edsel Ford in the higher conference of the Western Wayne Athletic Conference. So as Scott Murray starts his third full season here at Garden City High School, he'll be looking to this season get his record to an even 500. Last year, the first 500 year he had as a coach of this Garden City Cougar football team. But again, made it to the playoffs the first time a Cougar football team had made it to the playoffs in 10 years. Now, Ted alluded to the fact of that weather. It is hot here today. It is kind of overcast, and it's going to be part of what the players and what the coaches need to consider is the heat here today. We have Tom Iwinski with us here today. He's upstairs on top of the press box. He is known as Doppler Tom around these parts. He's part of the Carrie Parton Community Chat Show, and he...
It's his fault that it's this hot?
It's his fault that it's this hot.
Well, why is it so hot?
Tom, talk about a little bit about the heat and a little bit how will it affect the players here and how unusual it is to be this hot this time of year in Detroit.
Yeah, these players really need to take it easy out there because we haven't really had a whole lot of heat this week. This is the hottest day of the week. The high today was actually 94. Right now it's 92 out there, and those high to mid-level clouds are starting to move in, and this is all associated with Isaac. We're not going to see any rain from Isaac, but we are seeing the clouds this evening. It's pretty gusty out there as well, and that's what brought in the heat today. Southwest winds of 15 miles an hour out there, and that humidity is not really terribly high. It wasn't really a lot of humidity today, but 45%. So it's going to probably cool down as the sun sets, and then the moon's actually going to come out. And this is actually a full moon tonight. It's actually called the blue full moon. And the reason why it's called the blue full moon is because it's the second full moon in the month. It's not really going to have a lot of blue tints to it, but that's what they call it. And the game time forecast, temperatures are going to slowly dip, as I said, into the 80s. It's going to be, by the kickoff time, it's going to be around 87 degrees with these clouds continuing out there. As we head into the midpoint of the game, around 9 o'clock, these temperatures will continue to drop into the low 80s, around 84, and toward the end of the game, it's going to go around 80 degrees. So it's going to start out pretty hot, but this wind is really going to start bringing in that coolish air out there for this evening. So it's going to start out pretty hot, but then it's going to start cooling down.
So originally, earlier in the week, the thought was we may see some of the remnants of Tropical Storm Isaac in the way of rain in the area. We're not supposed to now see really much rain from it as we get through the weekend, but as you said, the remnants of it are these clouds. Is that correct?
Exactly. The actual rain and moisture from it, Isaac, is going to stay to our south. It's going to go through the Ohio River Valley and they're going to get the rain. But yeah, these clouds are definitely from Isaac, the outflows of Isaac. So it's very interesting. It was a far-reaching storm, but yes, the rain will miss us.
Tell us a little bit about where folks can go to see your weather forecast and to find out more about you. We mentioned you're part of the Community Chat Show with Carrie Parton, which is a weekly podcast done with Garden City information. But you also have a weather station right here in Garden City, and you have a place for people to find that information.
Yeah, I do have a website that does provide all this weather information. It's DopplerTomsWeather.com, and it's a wide range of a lot of stuff you can find. The current conditions, the 36-hour detailed forecasts, even looking out the 5-day outlook. And I threw in some other details, some travel conditions across our area in the United States if you're traveling, and the traffic conditions. You can also see astronomy if you want to see the clouds and the moon and all that stuff. And you can, and also if there's impending weather, there's also some sections for winter and the snow if there's severe weather. So a whole lot of sections on my website, and it's a lot of detailed information. Just go to the website and it's all going to be there.
All right, Doppler Tom, we want to thank you very much for being with us, and we hope to have you with us for all of our outdoor events for the rest of the season.
All right, thank you for having me.
All right, thanks, Tom. All right, and we did not mention, but Tom, when talking about the heat, they will take breaks today. The referees have told us that they will, if there aren't enough timeouts called by the coaches, they will take some water breaks, if you will, which they're allowed to do early on in the game to make sure the players stay hydrated. And there you see our officials for tonight's game. So we're about ready to go. Just a couple of minutes until kickoff as the Garden City Cougars get ready to take on the Edsel Ford Thunderbirds. It's our first broadcast of Cougar football for 2012, Garden City's second game of the regular season and their first test. So we'll be back with the opening kickoff and the beginning of today's game right after you watch this. You're watching Omni Edition Sports. This is GCTV.
So take these words and sing out loud, 'cause everyone is forgiven now, 'cause tonight's the night the world begins again.
Know what?
What?
Since I got adopted, I've learned a lot about these humans.
I know. I mean, check out these two. It's Flirt City over here.
Yeah, I noticed that. It looks like my human is definitely into your human.
Oh, look! I think she's getting his number.
Nice.
Your human's got some sweet moves.
Takes after his dog. Oh, look, they're doing that thing where they put their arms around each other.
She kicked up a leg. It's like in the movies.
That's awesome. Looks like we're going to be hanging out a little bit more.
And just about ready to kick it off here at Garden City High School on a warm day. Again, the second game of the season for both of these teams, and a Cougar team looking for win number 2 on the season. Deep for Garden City is Kevin Brown-Bako and Tomas McNeil. Both had good years last year, and they both had good games last game. Logan Ziegler kicking off for the Edsel Ford Thunderbirds. Speaking of kicking, Garden City held an open tryout for kickers the other day. They brought in some members of the soccer team, and 3 of those guys are on the bench today. I don't know if any of them will get to play. We'll see how that goes. This kick rolls near the sideline, and it may not go out of bounds. It did not. So Brown-Bako took a chance there, Ted, that ball was going to roll out of bounds for an illegal procedure call, but instead it stayed in bounds. That's a tough break for Garden City.
It's a great way for Edsel Ford to start. They get great field position, and if they can hold them 3 and out, they're going to start their offense in great field position. And basically, football's a game of field position, especially the way both teams want to run the ball here, and it's awful tough to run a offense to 85, 90 yards.
Had that ball rolled out of bounds, Garden City would have gotten it at the 35. But instead, they get it at about the 13. At quarterback for Garden City is Jacob Little, number 16. And he hands it off on the first play of the game, and we're underway.
Jacob Little is a totally different quarterback than the Cougars have been used to the last 3 years. You already documented that Mr. Steele's over in Concordia. You're not going to see Little put it up a lot. In fact, Coach Murray thought he threw 4 passes. The paper gave him credit for 3 last week. And
stats say 3.
The stats say 3. So you're going to see a ground game here off of the wing T formation.
So this is a 4 wide-out arrangement for Garden City, as Scott Murray said they might have today, and the quarterback's going to keep it himself. Little, tackled by 44 Chase Harbin.
Harbin came across the formation at full speed to tackle Little. Little had that ball real high, and I thought it was going to come out the way he was tackled. And he managed to hold on to that ball.
So that'll bring up a 3rd down and 7 for Garden City. The wideout this way is Cameron Daniels. On the other side, it's Brown Bako, and 3 wideouts now on the other end. So a naked backfield for Garden City. Little back to pass. He airs this one out a little bit. He's got a couple of black jerseys there, but he overthrows his man. I think the intended receiver there was Tyler Wilson, but there were 3 to choose from. And Garden City will have to punt it away, 4th down and 7.
This is how that little indiscretion of the uncertainty whether to pick up the ball or let it go out of bounds can hurt the Cougars here, because the deep man for Edsel Ford, the Thunderbirds, is standing on the 50.
So good field position on tap as Craig Galliard, who ran 2 punts back for touchdowns last week at Stevenson, is back there for the T-Birds, and that one will go out of bounds as Myers punts it out of bounds.
Inside the 40. The good thing about that is that he didn't get a chance to run the ball back. The bad thing is the Thunderbirds are going to have tremendous field position for their first possession.
So just underway, 10:34 remaining here in the first quarter. Dan York along with Ted Fournier, OmniEdition Sports, GCTV. As we bring you Cougar football Labor Day weekend here in Detroit. And as always, our thanks to our crew, who is kind of a skeleton crew tonight because of the Labor Day holiday. Number 5, Dylan Sanchez, under center for the Thunderbirds, and he hands it off. And Garden City there to stop it. That was Harbin on the handoff and a loss on the play.
Sanchez had the Thunderbirds lined up in an I formation. The strength of the formation was on the far side of the field from where you're watching at home. It's off to the right of the formation, and they just ran up straight up the middle. They didn't use the strength of that formation.
So they call it 2nd down and 10. DeGraffenried is the wide out near us. Sanchez under center. Gives it to the second man. That time the Garden City defense comes up big again. Looks like 55 for Garden City. Kyle Nelson was the first one to get there. He had 26 tackles in the game last week against Detroit Western International.
You'd like to see the enthusiasm and the emotion, actually the emotion that the defensive line is playing right here, and they're coming off to tackle sky high, and it's good to see at the beginning of this game.
3rd down and 10. Edsel has yet to gain on this possession. Sanchez now into the shotgun. Obvious passing down. Let's see. He puts it into the ground. Let's see. Do they call that a complete pass? Even if they do, it won't be far enough. DeGraffenried was there, but it's called an incomplete pass. He trapped it, so 4th down. Edsel looks like they're going to punt, but you're almost into 4-down territory.
Well, if they don't punt and you stop them, you change the field position. If you punt, you have opportunity to keep Garden City in the 20 or less.
Gian Grande, the deep man for Garden City, but this will be punted away. Garden City will just leave it alone. That bounces out of bounds right about the 10-yard line, and the Cougars will get it right back where they started from again. 1st and 10 from the 10 for Garden City.
Actually, it's inside the 10 at the 8, and basically that's worse field position.
Penalty on the play.
Oh, let's see which way this goes.
probably a hold against Edsel, based on where the flag is. That it's procedure against Edsel.
Well, that'll
sure Garden City will let him punt it again.
I would definitely, that's a big break, because what Edsel Ford did is just a little pooch punt, trying to get the ball out exactly where they did.
So they'll bring it back and punt it again.
Illegal procedure, kicking team, re-kick, 4th down.
And you can hear the wind in the official's mic. Even though it's awfully warm, the wind is blowing. It's pretty gusty out of the southwest.
Isaac is coming here to watch the game.
So this time the ball will be spotted.
Well, I imagine they're going to do the same thing. I think you're going to see a little pooch punt.
But Gene Grande's got more room to work now in case they're able to.
And if he can get up there and catch it, even better.
Almost blocked. And that one's going to result in a gain of about 3 yards for Garden City, as that was kicked at about the 12 or 13-yard line. So a 5-yard penalty, a 3-yard change in field position for Garden City. And they'll try it again.
Looks like they're going to mark it just inside the 15-yard line, so Garden City
much better.
Gained 7 on that penalty, but they're still inside the 20, and they need to get at least a first down or 2, give themselves some room, and change this field position.
You know, I didn't go through and count the players on the Garden City roster, but they're well over 50. And that's one of the things that Scott Murray has done, has been able to get a lot of kids out for this program. Fumble on the play. I think we recovered. Yeah, McNeil with a recovery. I'm not sure who touched it in the first place to drop it.
And that's one of the things that Scott Murray wanted to eliminate today was the ball on the ground, and that's just inexperience. You got a new quarterback, new backfield. You're gonna have these kind of things. If in your picture there, you've seen the big number 77 there, a sophomore. He's the center, and he had a lot of kudos after last week's game. He's one big sophomore blocking up front there.
Jay England, number 77 for Garden City. Hand off to McNeil, and McNeil gets nowhere. So far, neither team's offense able to do anything here today. Now this is the fumble. Scott Murray has done has been able to get a lot of kids out for this Morgan
program.
Fumble on the play with the tackle for Edsel Ford. We recovered.
Garden City is moving backwards, and Edsel Ford's just winning this battle of field position.
So 3rd down, and we'll call it 16 for Garden City.
And this is where you have problems. If you're a running team and you get in a 3rd down and 16, and your passing isn't your forte, this is where
Little had a nice completion. Quick give to McNeil. He gives Garden City a little more room to punt, but that's all it'll be. He had a nice rollout to his left and a pass under pressure. That was the only completion in the game last Friday. But again, only 3 attempts for Garden City. So the deep man will be Galliard again. He's very dangerous.
we're halfway.
And Myers back to punt.
Halfway through the first quarter here.
And there's not been much yardage gain. Big boot by Myers. Nice punt. Bounces right to Galliard. He'll take it on the 45, and he's met by a couple of Cougars. Nice job by Garden City to cover a nice punt. And Nichols in on the stop for Garden City. Nice job by the Garden City special team.
Well, Edsel Ford is still inside Cougar territory, but this time they're backed outside the 45 where they'll start. Just to recap, their first possession was 3 and out with absolutely no gaining of yardage. They had 2 running plays. Both were stopped at the line of scrimmage in an incomplete pass, and they had to punt. So let's see if the Cougars can do that again.
So Dylan Sanchez, his second turn at quarterback here today. Under center. Holds on to it, rolls out to his right, and there may be a pass interference call there. There is not an uncatchable pass. Mohammed Khalil, was wrestled down. I don't know by who on Garden City.
I think if that ball was closer to the receiver, your observation on the pass interference would have been called. But like you said, it was an uncatchable pass.
2nd down and 10 now for the Thunderbirds. To Graffenried on the near side. Far side is Anthony Evans. And we've got a whistle.
Dead ball. Illegal substitution. Offense.
So too many men on the field for the Thunderbirds.
That's the second penalty that's been called against Edsel Ford, both procedural penalties. One was illegal substitution, this one here. Dan, you mentioned the numbers that Garden City has out this year, and that's a hallmark of a program that is going in the right direction. The young men want to come out and play for Coach Murray.
Well, you take Edsel Ford, which has been one of the premier programs in the state for several years, and there's another flag on the play. Pass completed in the middle, but I think there's going to be a holding call deep in the backfield.
Yeah, there was holding on the right tackle as the Garden City young man broke into the backfield. He got grabbed, so this will put him. This is actually wonderful for Garden City because they're backing up the Thunderbirds.
But we're talking about Edsel Ford and the program under Jack Bridges, as we'll let our official have a say here.
Offense, 10-yard penalty. Repeat 2nd down.
When Garden City's offense went over to meet with the offensive coordinator, they still had more players on the bench than Edsel Ford does, with the 11 pulled out for Garden City. So this is 2nd down and a country mile for Edsel Ford.
About 27 yards, I think it is, Dan.
And Edsel will call timeout.
Timeout. Edsel Ford.
Apparently they have some stuff to work on as they coordinate getting players in and out. Still, early in the season, it's time to work stuff out before you get into your divisional play.
Just an observation here on Scott Murray's program here. It's not your dad's or your grandfather's Cougar program anymore. The logo's changing, the color's changing. And more important, the attitude has changed and the off-season dedication. I'm in the gym almost every night in the winter, and the football players are in there working out, getting better, hitting the weights, and this is all under Coach Murray. And like you said, there's something to join here. The kids have seen some success, and we now have 50 players.
We talked about last year in Garden City with that 6-4 record overall. This was their season last year, that tough loss at the end of the season to Allen Park in that playoff game in which they led 27-0. But there you see a 6-3 record. They actually played Edsel Ford in consecutive weeks as play resumes here at Garden City High School. Because of the crossover of the game, they had Edsel Ford scheduled, and then they picked up Edsel Ford as a crossover game that was a wild card game that was left open. So they ended up playing Edsel twice in 2 weeks, which I know the coaches didn't like.
Well, whenever you're in a league with crossover games, that's always possible, and there are a lot of schools that do that. I know the KLAA winds up with crossover games playing two times during the year. And Sanchez is in the shotgun this time.
So 3rd down and long for Edsel. Dumped over here to number 15, Galliard. Galliard's almost tackled once, but he's finally brought in by Christian Little, the brother of the quarterback for Garden City. And this will be 4th and long now for Edsel.
Just a little bubble screen where they finally picked up some positive yardage, but the 2 penalties have hurt Edsel Ford here. And Garden City this time should get the ball on the right side of the 20-yard line.
So Gian Grande deep for Garden City. Back to punt is Sergeson. Good rush, almost got it. Gian Grande watches it roll. It's going to roll down to the 20. So Edsel still pins Garden City deep, but at least they have some room to work now at their own 20-yard line.
40-yard punt really helps Edsel Ford. And the Garden City coaching staff really thought they had a block going on there, and they just missed it.
Yeah, I didn't see who almost blocked it, but almost great field position for Garden City, but they'll have to work themselves out of this one at their own 20-yard line. Neither team has been able to move the ball at all on offense with 5 minutes and 4 seconds remaining here in the first quarter.
Jacob Little needs to get a first down here. Garden City has yet to gain 10 yards on a possession.
Gives it to the second man through, who breaks it, Vinnie Myers. And Myers picks up Garden City's first first down of the day.
A little deception in the backfield, a little cross block we used to call it. One back goes one way, the other comes the other way, and they pick up 10 yards.
So 1st and 10 for Garden City at the 33-yard line. Still some more room for Garden City to work now. Finally, a team shows some positive yardage. Garden City bunched up now. One man in the backfield. That's McNeil, and he gets it, and no surprise there. Thomas Emma, number 55, there to meet him for a loss. I mean, if you're Edsel Ford, you've got to know that Tomas McNeil is going to get a lot of carries. He had 122 yards last week against Western International.
I was going to show you, Dan, that I did research and tell you about that 122 yards. But
there's the Myers run.
You beat me to it. but
see, it's the internet now, Ted. It used to be a big deal to find this. Now we just go on the internet.
But the thing you have to watch is they're running behind that big center. They like to go right up the middle.
McNeil again tries to go right over center, and nothing for McNeil.
And that's one thing. The other thing about today's football is that last Sunday night, the Edsel Ford coaches that scouted watched the tape and watched Garden City run behind their center. And so you're not going to fool them on week 2. In fact, you can't even fool them on week 1 because they have scrimmages a week before that.
260 for England.
But it's a svelte 260.
Just like you and I are. 3rd down and 11, and Garden City will call timeout. Pound for pound, the best radio announcers in Metro Detroit.
Omni Edition, the biggest staff in town.
Speaking of that, by the way, I want to thank all the guys that came out. Jared Siegwin, who came out to work for us tonight. Harold Larson, who's worked for us forever. Big thanks to Jason Merrow, who came out during the day today and helped us set up. But big thanks to Christian Gibbons, who's been working on putting this together for a couple of weeks now. Because of Labor Day, we're doing this with a 4-man crew where we normally would have 6 or 8. So my thanks to them for working so hard in this heat to get this put together.
Harold Larson, a little-known fact about Harold is that Philo Farnsworth, the man that invented television, he finally got the television to work, and Harold immediately raised his hand and volunteered to do cover camera. It's a little-known fact, but I thought Harold we should tell him.
And Harold immediately tried to hook his TiVo up to it. So 3rd down and 11 for Garden City. Big down for the Cougars. Daniels the wide out on the near side. Brown Bako on the far side. 4 wideouts and a slot. And Little just eats it for Garden City.
Well, there was nobody to pick up the block. If the line didn't stop it, Little was in trouble. And, folks, Little was in trouble.
So 4th and long for Garden City. Jacob Little didn't stand a chance there. 15 is the deep man. That's Galliard for Edsel. And Meyer back to punt. He gets another good one off. Doesn't take a Garden City bounce, though, and goes back to midfield.
Well, this is actually the worst starting position. Both teams very anemic offenses here early in the game, and the stars of the game have been the punters.
And that's right where Jacob Little just had no chance and brought down at the 25. By the way, we talked about that logo on midfield. You said it's not your Cougars or your grandpa's or your dad's team anymore. That logo on midfield was purchased by Scott Murray and the football program, and Dave Coletta, the guys at Buildings and Grounds, had to learn a new task, and that's how to paint a logo on a field.
We stole it for our highlight video last year.
Sanchez, quick give to 44. That is Harbin. He gains about 3 for Crestwood. Their first positive yardage game of the play of the game, I think.
I did want to notice that the left tackle on the last offensive play for Garden City threw what we call in the business a lookout block. And the Edsel Ford Thunderbird blew by him, but he did go back and pick up the quarterback after the tackle. So I want a sportsmanship of bounds.
Look out! So 2nd down and 7 now for the Thunderbirds. Lots of improvements, by the way. One of the dads whose name escapes me right now painted the scoreboard over the summer. And Greg Solovny donated a new banner for the top of the press box. 85 there for Garden City. The first man there, that's Ivan LeBron.
Robert Lucas went over there and spun him around, slowed him up, and then he broke loose for maybe 2 yards after that.
Was that Lucas, not LeBron? Okay, that makes more sense.
I think it was 85.
Lucas with 25 tackles last week for Garden City, so a 3rd down and 4 for the Thunderbirds.
Lucas really blew through the line there and met the ball carrier.
Crowd still coming in here at Garden City High School on this Friday before Labor Day. One of the few Friday games in Metro Detroit today. Sanchez gives it to the second man. He picks up the 1st down and more. Harbin on his way. Harbin to the 10. Harbin to the 5. Harbin touchdown. So a 44-yard run for Harbin, and Edsel Ford, just like that, who had struggled offensively, all of a sudden leads 6-0.
Harbin broke through the line, broke a couple tackles, and then he just kind of drifted out to his left, and he needed one block, and he got it. Watch the replay here. You see, he gets it. He drifts. He finds the hole. Now he's just going to keep going to his left. He needs one block down here, and just kind of escorted him into the end zone.
So Ziegler with a point after attempt, and it's good. He creamed it through the uprights, and it's 7-0 now for Edsel Ford with 1 minute and 50 seconds remaining here in the first quarter. So it's been all Garden City, although neither team had shown much offensively. And all of a sudden, Edsel with a 7-0 lead.
What surprised me about that play is Harbin, he didn't sprint to the end zone. He lumbered to the end zone. And I would think with the team speed that Garden City is supposed to possess, they could have ran him down. But he didn't really blow him away with his speed. He just got in the open and got an escort into the end zone.
There you see a shot of our crowd here at Garden City High School. That new banner on top of the press box is kids still are not back in school, so Garden City will have played 2 games at home before school even started. I always hate that. I know they do it because they have to sync things up with Ford Field in the state championship game, but now that they've expanded the playoffs to 256 schools or whatever it is, that means there's a lot of games played before school starts.
256 that's in each division, isn't it?
I don't even know anymore. It's a lot of teams. 6-3 makes it for sure. A lot of 5-4 make it. McNeil and Brown-Bako deep for Garden City. Ziegler will kick it off for the Thunderbirds. Garden City looking to get on the board. They trail it 7-0. 1:50 remaining here in the first quarter. Ziegler kicks it towards the middle, but running in for Garden City and handling it there is Brown-Bako. Brown-Bako with the sideline. Brown-Bako over midfield. He's got 2 men to beat. Brown-Bako past the kicker. Brown-Bako is brought down by DeGraffenried, and Garden City, just like that, pounds it back up to the 20-yard line of Edsel Ford. 1st and 10 for the Cougars.
He found a lane, and he caught that on the run. That was the number one key, is that when he caught it, he was by half the Edsel Ford people immediately because they were down holding their lanes. And once you catch that on a run, you like you described, 2 people to get, one had the angle on him.
Let's take a look at this. Not a real deep kick for Ziegler, who showed a good foot on the extra point. Right there, there's nobody left.
There's nobody left. He caught it on the run, and there was 2 people to get him.
So Garden City with a 1st and 10, little back to pass, has a man in the end zone. Touchdown! Jay Shepard in the end zone, and Garden City comes right back. And a flag on the play, though. It's against Garden City.
On the play.
And this one's going to come back. So Shepard.
Offense.
Found himself
Repeat
in the
first
end
down.
zone, but it's holding on Garden City, and it'll come back.
Well, it was a beautiful call play and a nice pass, but when you're having trouble blocking up front, a lot of times the lineman will just reach out or just grab for a second, and I think that's what happened.
We'll take a look at that play after this one. So first down and 25 for Garden City. And the official says, nope, first down and 20. Thanks for asking.
They basically walked off a 15-yard penalty on a holding.
Did. Well, it's from the point of the infraction, so that it could have been 5 yards back.
Well,
considering it was, after the rollout to the left, but referee says no. Good for us. The give again to 23, and Myers fights his way over the 30 to about the 28-yard line. Let's take a look at the end of that play. We won't see the holding, but there was Shepard all by himself. He'll never be that open again. But that one doesn't count.
You might want to mark that tape in the truck because we could use it for his highlight tape at the end of the year.
Because nobody will know there was
Just
a flag.
don't show the flag.
That's right. 2nd and 18 now. McNeil in the backfield. Myers on this side now. McNeil gets it. Fights his way over the center and gets back inside the original line of scrimmage.
There you see the blocking between the center and the guard position. And the big hole. Garden City figures that's the strength of their line. And a lot of teams run off tackle or outside the tackle, inside the guard. Garden City wants to run between the two guards and with the center leading the way.
So 3rd down and 9 for Garden City. Very, very big down for the Cougars.
And you see the gap right there. You get one good block.
The fake. Little has pressure, dumps it into the end zone. Touchdown! Little under pressure.
Lucas.
Got it off to Robert Lucas. No flags on this one. Garden City's on the board.
1:19 left in the first quarter. Garden City scored only 31 seconds after Edsel Ford took the lead.
And Myers will line up to attempt the point after. Little will be his holder. And just enough leg. No, it's no good. I thought he made it. So let's watch the replay of that pass play.
Watch here, Dan. Watch the difficulty that Little has here. As he's rolling off to his opposite hand. Being a left-hander, he has to turn around, square up, and make a great pass into the corner of the end zone.
So a 17-yard pass play, Little to Lucas. Garden City on the board. They trail now by 1, 7-6.
Well, that shows moxie. That shows Garden City said, okay, we took a blow. We stopped you every play but one. You broke one. All right, we're coming back. And they came back just as quick, if not quicker, than Edsel Ford. So 2 big plays there. First, the kickoff return down inside, deep inside Edsel Ford's territory. And then they scored, overcame a penalty, got backed up, and they had 1st and 25, and they overcame the penalty and scored again. So it's 7-6 here with 1:19 left on the first quarter.
So Garden City will kick it off from their own 40-yard line.
Now, is this going to be one of the newly appointed soccer kickers?
I don't know. It's been Myers so far. So Mohammed and Galliard will be deep. And let's see if this is the kicker. Got to look at all these new numbers now. It's a fake, and it was Myers. I didn't see 55 listed as a kicker. This is a live ball, boys. They pick it up at the 20. In pursuit there, missed by 1. Knocked out of bounds by Garden City's 55, Kyle Nelson. Almost had him a lot deeper than that.
I almost had him deep and missed tackle. You see more and more trick plays off of the kickoff now. And there is a school, I think it's in Arkansas, that never, ever kicks deep. They onside kick every single time. And there have been games where they have recovered the first 4 or 5 onside kicks, and by the time they give the ball up, they're ahead by 4 touchdowns.
Well, I did the kickoff classic last Saturday, and I think it had to have been Martin Luther King High School. On the first chance they had to kick off, ran this thing where all 11 players ran in front of the line of scrimmage and circled the ball and came back. Well, that's the legal procedure because everybody was offside.
False start. Offense. Still first down.
So it was the first time, the first time they got to try it, and then the referee immediately threw the flag. Is that Western that did that? Oh, I'm told it was Detroit Western that did that last week here. I did 6 games in 3 days, so I don't remember which one was which anymore. But
yeah, they'll kind of run together. Yeah, more and more coaches. There is actually statistics that prove that if you can actually be more successful by not giving the ball up.
That's a good idea. Just keep the ball?
Just keep the ball.
That's genius. Sanchez under center. Gives it to the second man, but he gets nowhere as Nelson on the bottom of that pile tackles Mohammed. And that's the end of the first quarter. Our score 7-6. The Edsel Ford Thunderbirds on top of the Garden City Cougars here at Garden City High School. Our first broadcast of 2012 of Scott Murray's Garden City Cougar football team.
Let's start it off a really dull game, Dan, and then a couple big plays.
Hey, our thanks, as always, to Dan and Paul Bogowski. This is the part of the program where Ted complains that he didn't make it down to get any food, but they did provide food, and we're being told, Ted, that there is food if you want to run down at halftime. But they always provide food for our volunteers, and we thank them so much for that. Located on Harrison and Ford Road, and they are changing their menu all of the time, and we want to thank them for helping us out and helping feed the volunteers here at Omni Edition Television.
Well, Dan, I just want you to know, after all the years of not getting the Kentucky Fried Chicken, I looked at your crew, and not only are they the happiest crew I work with, they are also the
best fed?
The best fed crew I've ever. They're a lot like me and you.
Yep.
And so I direct my wife to go down there at least twice a month down there, and then
because you want to compare favorably?
No, I figure it's good enough for Omni Edition Television. It's good enough for me.
So second down and 14 for the Thunderbirds, and we'll just leave all of that alone, Ted.
You can't buy that kind of advertising.
No, you can't. Sanchez with 2 men in the backfield with him. Sanchez, right-handed thrower, completes it. Pass completed to DeGraffenried.
Just a short 7-yard out, but the ball travels about 20 yards, and if you can just fall forward, you turn the 7 yards into 9, and that's exactly what they did.
And another flag on the play. So Edsel Ford killing themselves with penalties here today.
Holding. Offense. Repeat second down.
Big break for Garden City. Good following from Edsel Ford on their side of the stands here today.
What a great shot. Is that from the Harold Larson?
Yes, the Harold Larson
shot
20-yard line camera tonight instead of his usual perch behind the goalpost.
Did I mention to you it's hot?
Well, I believe, Ted, last year we did the second game of the season. That game was at Eastern, and I believe it was 195 degrees that day. So actually, this is better. 2nd and 25. And right there is Shepard to tie up Harbin. The highlight of that game last year, by the way, was Ted not knowing there was an elevator at Rynearson Stadium. and Ted walking up 150 rows of bleachers when it really, really was 95 degrees.
My doctor appreciated that.
3rd down and 24.
I just caught my breath a week ago.
Harbin in the backfield for Edsel, along with Sample. It's a pass. He airs it out, and just too far for DeGraffenried, and that'll bring up 4th down.
DeGraffenried just jumped too early. If he took 2 more steps and then went up, and let me tell you, Sanchez had all the time. He could have sat back there, wrote a novel, and then threw the pass, but he had no pressure on him at all. He just sat back, planted his back foot, and arched it out there. And I just think DeGraffenried just read that pass.
Illegal receiver downfield.
Oh, jeez.
Offense, penalties declined. 4th down.
Wow, Edsel can't catch a break.
Well, if Edsel can't catch a break, then we could translate that to as Garden City is.
We hope so.
And Garden City's defense is marching the ball toward the goal line.
So Giangrande, and really for Edsel, it's been one play, a 44-yard run by Harbin.
One play. There was just a huge hole as Garden City's eagerness and emotion. They over-pursued to the left side of their defensive formation, and the play went the other way.
There's the punt by Segerson. Takes an Edsel roll down about the 46, and it'll be 1st and 10 for Garden City on their side of midfield. 1st and 10 from the 46.
Well, Coach Murray has already discovered the forward pass of this game and has thrown 4 or 5 of them already, 1 per touchdown, 1 per touchdown that was called back. So let's see if he goes back to the ground game or if he's going to air it out here.
Let's get the chains lined up right. They might want to not snap this ball quite yet.
No, okay.
No problem. No, not a second to spare, but we're there. Little on the rollout, and he is creamed right back at the line of scrimmage by Emma. 2nd and 10.
He could have pitched that back, but he wouldn't. He probably would have lost yardage. Good decision. He just got back to the line of scrimmage, and he was planted rudely.
Scott Murray has probably 10 or 12 wrinkles in his offense, 10 or 12 formations that he'll run, and the coach of Edsel was lamenting to him during the week that his film from Friday's game against Detroit Western International showed him none of those. So,
well, you basically have to watch last year's playoff game and the scrimmage tape.
And that was what he said. Tomas McNeil almost to a 1st down. We'll have to see where it gets spotted.
Jay England does not get called from the field announcer, but he threw the block right up the center, and there's where, watch this play go right up the gut, right up the middle, and great blocking right there. See that point between the guards and with the center clearing out in the middle, and that's bread and butter for Garden City.
So 3rd down and about a yard, and McNeil may have gotten there. We'll have to see where the spot ends up.
Same place.
And a 1st down for the Cougars. So 1st and 10 for Garden City at the 44 as they convert on 3rd down.
If you can get average 5 yards a carry just behind your big center, you run there all day long. Jay England's over the ball again.
So 1st and 10 for the Cougars. Little keeps it. Gains about 3 yards on the play.
He was going to get tackled, threw a little inside fake, and picked up a few more yards as he just kept going to the left.
9 minutes, 5 seconds remaining here in the 1st half. Cougar football from Garden City High School. Dan York along with Ted Fournier. Christian Gibbons, our director. Our thanks to Tom Iwinski, better known as Doppler Tom, for setting the scene at the beginning of this one with his weather forecast. Of course, he could have got it from Ted. He just says it's hot. McNeil over the 40, fights his way up to the 35 and all the way to the 30-yard line. Another Garden City 1st down. So McNeil turned about a 3-yard gain into about a 6-yard gain.
You want your tailback to be fast. That's a given. But what McNeil showed there is he's elusive. He has changed the speeds. He basically stopped, dodged a tackler, and then spurted. So you saw not only a speed, you saw the ability to be elusive.
So 1st and 10 for Garden City. Ball about the 31. McNeil hit there for maybe a gain of a yard.
Just running to the left side, left guard. That one may have been outside the guard and the tackle, but the offensive line doing a great job. And sometimes you have a line that can really run block, and then sometimes you have a line that can pass block. And so far it looks like Garden City is a predominantly run-blocking line.
So Edsel Ford calls timeout with Garden City driving on them. The officials had indicated they would take breaks for water. I would have assumed we would have been approaching one pretty close. Now let's take a look at what the Thunderbirds did last year. 4-5 record for them. They did not make it to the playoffs. They had wins over Belleville, Romulus, Eaton Rapids, and one win over Garden City between those 2 games that the 2 teams played back-to-back. So consecutive 4-5 seasons for Mark Tyler, the head coach of the Edsel Ford Thunderbirds. They were 2-2 in the blue division, which is the, quote, upper division, the larger schools in the Western Wayne Athletic Conference. Garden City plays in the red division. That blue division is Dearborn, Edsel, Fordson, Belleville, and one more that I can't come up with right now. Romulus, I believe.
Romulus.
So Garden City in that other division, which has 5, and that other 6 teams rather, that creates more problems too because you have to find more non-conference games for that upper division. Wouldn't be surprised to see Inkster come into the Western Wayne Athletic Conference and even it out as 6 teams a division. They probably would go to the upper, but that's not etched in stone. That one is dumped off now to 22 Wilson, and Wilson fights his way ahead, maybe to a first down.
The ball was loose, but they're going to say he was down. Now, you and I, to our eye, say that's a pass, but that was very close to a lateral as the ball carrier turned around and caught it on his backside and then turned and ran. So we'll put it in the pass column for a complete pass, but it could have been a lateral. You know, you're talking about expansion to the Wayne Westland. It could be uneven again with Clarenceville coming in.
Oh, geez, yeah. Clarenceville has been rumored for a while. And, of course, they don't want to get back to the mega conference, is what they try to get out of as Myers is just met for a loss. Emma, again, with the tackle. He's had quite a few solo tackles for Edsel already in this game.
Garden City has shown the ability on a quick hitter where the blocks shoot off their blocks. That time on a little reverse that comes from the other side of the formation, you have to sustain your block and move them. And they're not being as successful in sustaining blocks as they are as getting the quick hitter and the quick when you shoot off of your stance to block.
So 2nd down, and we'll call it 13. 2 men in the backfield. Myers gets it. He battles back to the original line of scrimmage at least.
Clock is at 7:19 and going down.
Now this could be an interesting call on 4th down if Garden City doesn't convert on 3rd down. Do you let one of the soccer players try to kick a field goal? Guys that were just brought out to the program a couple of days ago.
Yeah, why not?
It's 4-down territory otherwise.
You're
certainly
only
not going to punt.
You're within a point of the lead, and who knows?
Garden City all wide outs except for McNeil in the backfield. Little, quick pass, and just throws it into the end zone. Apparently some communication problem between him and Brown Bako, unless Brown Bako thinks he was held.
Bako cut inside, and he threw that pass to the outside. So now we're going to see. Now, coaches are notoriously conservative. You know, they talk on Tuesday. They can talk and big game, and we're going to do this, but they get the headset on the sideline, and they don't like to be second guessed. So
looks like they're going to go for it on 4th down without having, given these kids any game experience, and without giving them some real practice time. This is probably the right play, 4th and 9. So Little will go to the shotgun now.
Well, I did tell Scott Murray that I was going to second guess him all night. So
good. Myers blocking for him. Little throws this one in the end zone. He's got a man open, but he overthrew him. Little had Tyler Wilson open, but he couldn't connect with him. So the Cougars turn it over on downs. 1st and 10 now for the Edsel Ford Thunderbirds.
I'm going to give the fans back home how we know as color commentators and play something about the play. You saw Wilson you'll see Wilson as this pass is overthrown. Watch if the play is long enough. Watch his hands at the end of this play here.
Whoa! Didn't reach for it at all.
No, and then he just kind of shrugged his hands, and those are the things.
Yeah, that's alligator arms right
those
there.
Are the things the coaches look in the tape and they make opinions on and they make judgments on.
That's tough. He probably didn't have it.
I think it was overthrown.
But he didn't reach for it at all. So 1st and 10, and there for Garden City. Leading the way was Lucas.
We're going to have to give that guy a nickname, Secretary of Defense or the something line. What street is this we're over here?
Cambridge or Hartel, right?
Hartel line.
I've only lived here since I was 8. I don't know. Lucas, one of those legacies. His dad and uncles went to Garden City High School, Garden City West. Got it in, Ted. Didn't think I could, huh? Didn't you think I'd get it in?
You guys from West never miss a shot.
So 2nd down. And we've got a whistle.
Too
Maybe
much
a delay of
time,
game.
yeah. You know, now that you brought up Garden City West, I have this idea that I'd like to get some opinion on. You know, in the middle of the Garden City gym, they got that huge cougar head, right?
Right.
I was over at Southgate last year, and Southgate has their new Trojan or whatever, but they also they honor the previous 2 schools that met. I would like to see, was it the Panther and the Tiger?
Phillips has already looked into it.
Well, I told him.
Oh, well, that's why then. I think we're going to do it, actually.
You like that idea?
I wanted to do it before. I wanted to do it back in '83, but we don't want to we don't want anything to do with the Panthers and the Tigers anymore. They wanted, we wanted to do it then.
There's such pride in both of those schools to this day that I think it would be a great gesture.
Well, the fact that you can go and cross the street to Incorporate, as you see Galliard catch that one, and I think he got the 1st down.
If you look at your screen, you
Penalty
see a
marker,
handkerchief because that block over there, if we get a replay, watch the block on that little screen.
That's coming back.
It was a tackle.
But the fact that you can go across the street to Jim Nees and Corporate Marketing with his new Garden City store and pick up your Garden City East and Garden City West hoodies and T-shirts and everything else should tell you something.
Holding. Offense. 10-yard penalty. Repeat 2nd down.
So that'll bring 2nd down and 14. No, it's going to move back even farther.
It was illegal tackling. The other watch here right after the catch here. Watch the tackle.
Oh,
right
jeez.
there.
Okay, I didn't see that. I was watching the guy catch the ball. All right, so big break for Garden City again, and Edsel Ford once again shoots themselves in the foot. 2nd down and 23 now.
Just to finish up on that, not only do people living in Garden City want the East and West T-shirts, but anybody that hears about it wants one mailed out to them if they've left the area.
Sanchez back. Gives it to, I believe, Mohammed. And they're just trying to get punting room now.
Well, it's going to be 5 minutes to go on the clock, and Garden City's going to get the ball back here.
3rd down and about 19 now for, check that, make it 16 for the Thunderbirds. Yeah, there's been a few of those West Tiger and East Panther shirts. I hate to admit I like the East one better.
You're gonna get kicked out of the club.
know. Sanchez with a give to Mohammed. Nice effort, but he won't get much. 54-5 there for Garden City. That's Spears and Vincent. Although I can't wear the East T-shirt.
Well, back in '82, they didn't have anything over extra large.
If they didn't need it. Neither one of us needed it in '82.
Thank God they've discovered larger sewing machines.
Well, and you notice, Jim Neve makes sure that there's 3X's and 4X's. McNeil did not call for a fair catch. Let's see. I thought he was calling for a fair catch. Either way, he secured it at the 49.
Well, once again, great field position here. Watch the replay here, and Dan, you can see if he put his hand up here.
3:57. Well, a little late to be able to tell.
Our director must be munching on chicken or something in there.
Fingers slipped off the buttons.
3:57 on the clock. Garden City trailing by 1, and I think they've outplayed Edsel Ford, or at least to a stalemate, but one big play.
So 1st and 10 for Garden City. The second man gets it. That's Wilson. And once again, leading the way is Emma for Edsel Ford.
There's another one of those plays that come from the opposite side of the formation. It takes some time to develop. And whenever the play has taken some time to develop, the Edsel Ford line has been able to chase it down. The quick hitters just straight up the middle, run right at the formation, and they've been successful.
So 2nd down and 11 for Garden City. Clock running with 3:20 remaining in the half. Give is to McNeil. McNeil finds the hole over the guard. McNeil breaks it over the 30. He's still on his feet. McNeil not brought down till the 22. Tomas McNeil with a first down for Garden City.
A quick hitter right between the tackles, right up the middle of the Edsel Ford formation. Watch this, Dan. Right up the middle.
Big play for McNeil. He's got to be over 60 yards at this point. So 1st and 10 for Garden City. They'll put it at the 22, 23-yard line.
It's 3 minutes and 6 seconds. Plenty of time to run your regular offense. You don't have to do anything special. Do what you think you do best.
And hopefully Garden City can go into the locker room with a lead. Wilson moves out more to a wide out. In motion. The pitch to Wilson. Wilson over the 20. He slips a little. Takes a big hit from Lopez. He lost his footing before that.
Once again, that's one of those plays that are strung out. All the Edsel Ford defenders did was made sure that he didn't cut up in their hole, and they kept going on the outside, and that allowed the corner to come up and meet him rudely right near the line of scrimmage.
So 2nd down and 7 now.
Well, he had no good intentions right there.
How rude. McNeil in the backfield. Coming across, and did they give it to him? Nope.
Well, he was going down as a pass caddy. He lost his footing. Now, it hasn't rained here in a few days, so it shouldn't have been that. But as he actually had to put the brakes on and come back and catch it. He wasn't led with the pass. It was a
right. That was Daniels who couldn't pull that one in. It's funny, though, you said it hasn't rained here. One of the things that's going to happen likely tonight, with as hot as it got today, it's supposed to cool down into the low 60s tonight. There may be a little dew on the grass later on tonight. Let's get Doppler Tom back. Quarterback pitches to McNeil. McNeil fights his way over the 15. We'll call it about the 14-yard line. It's going to be very near to a first down.
Yeah, are you talking about DopplerTomsWeather.com, Doppler Tom?
Yes, that. I'm glad you dropped it in because I couldn't remember what it was.
I cut a deal with him on his way out.
He's got a weather station at his house.
Well,
and all that information is available through his website. That's kind of neat. Little gives it to Tomas McNeil, who powers ahead for the first down. So Scott Murray makes sure that he gets the first down. He's got 2 timeouts remaining. So plenty of time for Garden City to try to punch this in and take a lead to the half.
They are taking a lot of time. Luckily, they stopped the clock there, but they are taking, because 2 plays ago they had 3:06, and they've taken 1 minute and 30 seconds off the clock in 2 plays.
Are they going to measure? I just assumed that was a given.
It's going to be close because he had a yard to go.
Oh, they're going to measure. I thought it was a gimme.
This might be an official timeout.
It is an official timeout. They'll run some water out to the players. The Thunderbirds who stay on the field, Garden City will come to the sideline. But, yeah, I thought for sure that he made that. And he did. So, by about a ball length.
It's important that Garden City, being this deep in there into Edsel Ford's territory, punches in.
They've got to come out of this with points.
You got to go into the locker room ahead.
Little with McNeil behind him. He'll pitch it to McNeil. Tomas with some blocking, fights his way over the 10. Probably to about the 8-yard line before he goes out of bounds, and that will stop the clock. Didn't get a good spot, though. They spotted at the 10-yard line.
McNeil just rode the backside of his blocking, and he did a great job. There was nothing else he could do. He was only going to go as far as his blockers got.
So 2nd down and 8. I thought he got about 2 more yards on that.
Look at the hole between the guard and the tackle there.
And Little is sacked in the in the backfield.
The big hole in the formation was on the right side, and Garden City ran to the left side.
Poltoric with the tackle for a loss, so only lost about a half a yard there. 3rd down for Garden City. There he is exposed. And there he is finished off. As you see the cheerleaders here at Garden City High School, bigger than some football teams in Southeast Michigan.
Very energetic squad, always quality ladies that'll work real hard.
JV team has just as many cheerleaders also.
The only objection I have is that there should be a rule that no lady 6 foot taller should be on the cheerleader. They should come out for basketball.
For basketball?
Yeah, I don't know why I feel that way, but I feel strongly.
Well, and we should mention, we didn't mention at the top of the broadcast that Ted Fournier now will be taking over the junior varsity girls program here, as Michelle Tyree will take over the varsity, and Barry Patterson will stick with just softball for now after a long tenure coaching both. Little, dump pass to the other side to Wilson. Wilson with nowhere to go. And Sample there on the tackle.
Now here you go, Coach. You going to try to kick a field goal here, or you're going to try to put it in the end zone? You got 50
well, he didn't try it before.
You got the clock is running.
So you're going to try to make this the last play of the half or near the last play of the half. 40 seconds and the clock running. They can get a 1st down without scoring. Inside about the 2.
They're going to call timeout.
They're going to call timeout once they let the clock run down. 20 seconds remaining on the clock. They'll run it down to probably right around, well, all right, I would have thought right around 10, but that's fine. You can run it down to 1 as far as that goes and still get the playoff as long as there's no penalty. So 4th down for Garden City. We'll call it 9. They're on about the 11-yard line.
It's basically been a series of about 50 seconds. With about 2 minutes to go in the first quarter, Edsel Ford broke off a 44-yard run to score and go up 7-0. The ensuing kickoff was run back down inside the 20-yard line. Garden City scored on a quick pass, but it was called back. They had 1st and 25 to go back over the 30. 2 plays later, they threw it to the other side of the infield and scored, missed the extra point. It's 7-6, and all that action took place between the 2-minute mark and the 1 minute, 1:19 second mark in the first quarter.
Harbin with a 44-yard run for Edsel. Little to Lucas, a 17-yard pass play, and that's been all the scoring for either team. It is 7-6. Edsel on top with 17.6 seconds remaining in this half. McNeil in the backfield. Little back to pass. There's a flag on the play. This one will...
It was the old alley-oop throw to the...
Illegal procedure. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Replay 4th down.
So the receiver was covered in the end zone anyways, Brown Bacon, so you may as well take another shot at it.
That play's excellent if Megatron's in the corner.
Saw an interesting play at the Kickoff Classic where a team with a pass and run got the ball down to the 1.
Please put 17.17.6 on the clock.
They had gotten the ball down to the 1-yard line, but time had expired on a pass play, but there was pass interference, which in high school is only 15 yards, but it did result in another play. So they took the ball at the 20 instead of at the 1 and still had another play.
Right.
So they'll reset it to 17-6. Pressure on Little, lots of pressure. Almost survived it. He almost survived it as Emma makes the tackle with 8.8 seconds left. They almost overran him.
Just an observation in the first half here. Watch this. Anything that takes time, the defensive ends for Edsel Ford are beating their man. So you've got the Edsel Ford strength seems to be on the outside. Garden City's ability to move the ball seems to be on the inside. And anytime Garden City rolls left or right, they don't have enough blocking to make the play work. They got to run inside the tackles.
I said there was Emma on the tackle, but it was Mike Rusko for Edsel Ford. 8.8. I think they're just going to take a knee. This should be the last play of the half.
This is we want to hear what the coach has to say at halftime formation.
There you go. So both teams with a little bit of offense. Garden City with a little more than Edsel Ford, but it doesn't show on the scoreboard as the Thunderbirds of Dearborn, they lead it by a score of 7-6. So we'll recap our first half action and have second half action from here at Garden City High School right after you watch this. This is Omni Edition Sports, GCTV.
The 9/11 memorial is for my 343 brothers who didn't make it.
And for my brother.
This shows the world that we can rebuild.
And that we are strong.
It's for the heroes like my dad.
This year, the National September 11th Memorial opens in New York City. Join us to honor, remember, and reunite. To learn more or to reserve your visit, go to 911memorial.org.
Cruise on out to the Garden City Farmers Market. We're open every Wednesday, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. and easy to find on the northeast corner of Ford and Middlebelt in Garden City. We have a galaxy of seasonal fruits and vegetables, as well as baked goods, honey, syrup, flowers, hot dogs, you name it. Our farmers have locally grown produce. It hasn't traveled across the country to find you, just across town. So stop by and see us at the Garden City Farmers Market, Wednesday, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. on the northeast corner of Ford and Middlebelt. We'll be waiting for you.
Welcome back to Garden City High School, 7-6. Edsel Ford on top in the second game of the regular season for both teams. As you see the moon over Garden City on a warm, humid evening here in Metro Detroit, Labor Day weekend, as the Cougars drove late in the half, Ted, but were unable to punch it in. They had the ball inside the 20, and it looked like a sure scoring opportunity for Garden City, but they couldn't finish it off.
You know, if you just watch this tape with the sound down, A, you would enjoy it more, and B, you would think that Garden City was, controlling the game. Garden City's done everything right, but put it in the end zone. There has been a 40-second period of this game where both teams scored. And it was a fluke run, a 44-yard run. Edsel Ford has 72 yards rushing, 44 on one play. Garden City came back with a massive kickoff return, threw a touchdown pass. It was called back. 1st and 25, they ran a couple plays and threw one on the other side of the end zone. and they scored, and that's all the scoring. It's 7-6. A missed extra points, the difference of the game. And Garden City, even though they've outplayed Edsel Ford, they've been deep in Edsel Ford's territory numerous times, they trail by a point. And sometimes a team will steal a game like that.
Edsel Ford will get the ball to begin the second half. They struggled advancing it. Mohammed and Galliard deep. Galliard is dangerous. Ran 2 back for touchdowns last week against Sterling Heights.
And I'm sure Scott Murray, the coach from Garden City, is not going to kick it to him.
Well, at least not on purpose.
Remember, they tried this fancy kickoff where the lone player that's out there ran past the tee. Let's see if he kicks it this time.
It'll be Myers that kicks it off. He gets it to about the 25-yard line. It's picked up. Might have gone out of bounds, and there for Garden City to make a nice tackle was Eric Braun.
See, I like that play because, A, you have a chance of recovering if anybody hesitates. B, your team gets down there. You're not letting somebody have a head of steam to run it back. And B, you're not really giving a bad field position. You've controlled it all game long, and they have the ball just outside their own 30.
So Mohammed took the kickoff. It's 1st and 10 for the T-Birds on their own 31.
Diaz is wearing a glove on his opposite hand here, and it's 95 degrees out.
Got a couple of guys protecting him, and he'll run it. He fights it over the 40-yard line near a first down.
That wasn't pretty, but it was unexpected, and nobody expected Diaz to run the ball there, and he kind of lumbered and waddled and tilted, and all of a sudden he fell down when somebody hit him on the 44-yard line. Sanchez.
He took the Dillon and the Sanchez and put it together.
Okay, the guy that was wearing number 5 for them did that.
Harbin in the backfield along with Mohammed. T formation, Sanchez. Man coming across, makes the catch, and he's got some room. Der Graffenried all the way over the 30-yard line.
That's one of those quick hitters where the end splits out, just cuts across the middle, has the advantage of going diagonally across the formation, which is the hardest way to contact. We got a flag on the field.
It's coming back.
Holding. Offense. Repeat, second down.
I was going to remark how much time Sanchez had, but that maybe explains it.
The point is moot.
That's just a quick hitter, and yeah, I'm a firm believer that pass patterns that are diagonal are so hard to cover, and if they're going up or across, you can cover those, but if they're diagonal, it's hard to cover.
So 2nd down and about 9, 3 in the backfield again. And Sanchez will keep it again, and he'll be wrapped up. First one there was Chad Ford, and Daniel Moore, I believe, was the second there for Garden City.
That time Sanchez came straight up the middle, and the whole left side of Edsel Ford's formation just disappeared. It just was gone, and he had no chance.
So a loss again and a 3rd down and about 11. So what could have been great field position for Edsel Ford has now turned into a 3rd and 11 at their own 30.
Edsel Ford has been penalized a lot tonight.
I don't think we got penalty stats from John Fleming. That one is complete but short of a first down. Gian Grande there to meet de Graffenried.
It's short of the original line of scrimmage. Well, John handed us some stats. We already mentioned a couple of them. Edsel Ford, 12 carries, 72 yards, 5 passes, 1 complete, 6 yards for 78 yards in the first half. Cougars, 27 rushes, 74 yards, and then 3 for 7 passing for 28, so they were over 100 yards of offense in the first. Both teams 1 touchdown. Edsel Ford with 1 extra point, and that's the difference of the game.
Gian Grande deep. Sagerson back to punt.
Edsel Ford's trying to get enough men on the.
Big rush again for Garden City. Almost blocked again. Takes a Cougar bounce that time. Back up over the 35-yard line. So 1st and 10 for Garden City. And a flag after the play.
It's going to be on Garden City for a late block or a block from behind after the whistle.
So that'll push Garden City back 15. So the good field position is negated.
That was totally unnecessary.
I had stopped watching the play at that point.
Foul. Receiving team, 15-yard penalty, 1st down.
One of the over-exuberant Cougars hit somebody from the back way after the play was settled. Right about here.
So by there, the play's over. Oh, right there on the right side of the screen. Looks like Deese, I think. That,
also, the Cougar that came off the end almost blocked that. If he had taken a shorter route instead of diagonally to the kicker and just came across the kicker's path of the football, I think he would have had that.
Tomas McNeil on the carry for Garden City. He'll pick up around 3.
Well, see, that's one of those mistakes that you get the ball close to midfield, and all of a sudden you're back deep in your own territory. And now, as a running team, you got to get 2 more downs. You got to get 2 more sets of 10 yards to get into the end zone. And so far, the Cougars haven't shown a really breakaway back.
Not sure what happened there, as Little will turn that into something. Myers turned around, kind of threw his arms up. Either somebody didn't run the play right or he didn't know what it was.
Little headed towards Middle Belt and found out there was a traffic jam, so he headed back toward Ford Road.
So Little really made something out of that. 3rd down and 2 now. I don't know if Myers thought that was an option play.
This is a big play. This is a big play. You're inside your 30. If you can get 3 more downs here by getting a 1st down, you move the ball further and further toward the goal line.
To give to McNeil. McNeil will be close to the 1st down.
He may have fallen forward for it.
It looks like he got it at the end if he hadn't had it before then. And the Cougars will pick up the 1st down.
Now that's a small play, a forgettable play, but it's so big in a game like this, a close game like that. That 1st down, you keep the ball. They can't score when you got it, and you get the least you're going to do is have better field position if you have to give up the ball.
So 1st and 10 for the Cougars at their own 33. Little keeps it, option play. Nothing there.
You know, that is an option play, but when Little looked, he found out that his back was not even with him or ahead of him. He was behind him, so he was going to lose more yards by pitching, so he kept it. The back really needs to get out there quicker.
So 2nd down and 10 now for the Cougars.
You don't want your quarterback twisting his back and throwing it behind him. You want him to pitch it out, so you need the back to actually lead that play.
Man in motion. Fumble on the play, and it's recovered by Edsel Ford.
And that's the 2nd time the ball's gone onto the ground for Garden City, and that's been a bugaboo so far early this season.
So Edsel Ford will get their best field position of the day.
And that totally negates that 1st down you just picked out. You worked real hard, got that 1st down, and then you give the ball back.
So Edsel with the 1st and 10 at about the 30-yard line. Sanchez with 2 in the backfield again. And there's a pass interference call on Gian Grande.
Got there just a tad bit early. And you know You know the penalty's good when the stands are starting to groan before the flag is thrown, because they saw it here too.
Pass interference, defense, 15 yards from the previous spot, automatic. First down.
Now watch this. This is a 6-yard or 7-yard pass, but they're going to get 15 yards on the penalty.
So a tough break for Garden City. 1st and 10 for the Thunderbirds, deep in Garden City territory. Sanchez towards the end zone, has a man wide open, and he overthrows de Graffenried. Break for Garden City, 2nd down. Right now, Garden City could use a couple of those Edsel Ford holding calls.
Basically, the receiver was, I think wide is such a non-descriptive word there. Isolated in the end zone.
All by himself.
Here's a great shot of the crowd.
Beautiful night. Still warm. Sanchez, shorter play. De Graffenried taken out of bounds inside the 5-yard line.
And that was a good pass, because not only were there 2 defenders there, but he hit the receiver right on his left shoulder, and you had to go through him to defend it. So it was a great pass by Sanchez.
So a 1st and 10 for Edsel. They're really their first traditional drive of the day.
Well, you know, you heard about that thing called momentum. When you turn the ball over deep in your own end, all of a sudden that other team gets a little better.
Garden City unable to score at the end of the first half.
1st and 3.
Sanchez under center. Gives it to Harbin. Harbin is battling, but he is short.
Now he's
just
a low.
inside the 1.
He's your typical, in our day, big, strong fullback type of runner.
Harbin, the weights didn't show up on the spreadsheet they gave. Figures.
Well, he's solid. He goes over 2 bills, and he's solid.
Sanchez with 2 wideouts on the far side. Harbin and Mohammed in the backfield, and Harbin will walk right in. So Harbin with a 1-yard carry, and Edsel Ford with the potential to go up 14-6 right here. Garden City had it deep, or rather had it deep in their own end, needed to move it out and coughed it up. So Ziegler will attempt the point after, and he crushes it over the track. Let's watch the touchdown scored by Edsel. I mean, big hole there for Harbin.
He knocked his own player down after he got in.
The Garden Center did their job, and he just walked right through.
Well, basically, the turnover. And Scott Murray was not happy with the turnover, the fumbles last week, and one of them came back to haunt him today.
Now, Garden City, after this game tonight, will have a couple of road games, or one road game. They'll go to Redford Union, take on the Panthers. Then they'll be back at home September 14th to take on the Crestwood Chargers, and then here on September 21st on Military Appreciation Day. That'll be our next broadcast here on Omni Edition Sports. That F next to Annapolis is for a forfeit. Annapolis decided to drop varsity football again this year. That's the second time they've done that in the last 5 years due to just not enough personnel. And that crossover game that you see there on October 12th, that is going to be against the the blue division rather, but it'll be based on where you are in the standings as to who you play. So there's a line shot that will roll out of bounds for a illegal procedure penalty. So Garden City can take it at the 35 or have them kick it again.
One thing you notice on that schedule is that Garden City's only got 3 away games this year. And That should be in their favor. But they got to win these home games.
Illegal procedure, kicking team, re-kick, 5-yard penalty.
Well, that crossover is away 2 this year, so that'll be their 4th one. That crossover was at home this year.
Okay.
This last year, so that one will make it 4. But we do have the 5 home games.
And
so they'll kick it again. Usually they take it. They'll kick it again.
Well, field position has been tough all night, and Garden City did get a good kickoff return. So
this one in the middle of the field. McNeil takes it over the 20, over the 25. He's got a lane inside to the 50, to the 40. Look at him muscle his way through the Edsel Ford defense inside the 30-yard line. Tomas McNeil, I thought he was done at the 35. His own 35 takes it up inside the 30 on the other side of the field.
He gets good blocking here, and watch the determination to get through the defenders here. Watch this.
So there he takes it at about
look at the block
16.
Here.
Right there he should have been down. Thought he should have went out of bounds right there. Great blocking and great vision by McNeil.
Broke 5 tackles on that, and this is why Coach Murray said kick it again.
So hopefully Garden City can capitalize on this now. 1st and 10. The option to Myers in the backfield, and he won't go anywhere.
Just once again, not being critical, but critiquing. Little had to turn around and throw the ball to the trailing back, and the backs. You want the back to have a full steam going ahead and pitching it out there. You don't want him to twist and throw that ball backwards, especially with a left-hander. Left-hander's got to turn around and throw it across his body.
So 2nd down and 14 now for Garden City. McNeil in the backfield. Little's going to throw. He's got a man open. Good defensive play by Edsel Ford. That was Lucas in the end zone. And a good job by Sam Lopez to break that play up.
Once again, a very difficult pass for Little as a left-hander rolling out to his right. He has to turn around and square up, which is, you think that's easy, but it's like a 1 count or a half a count that makes the play very difficult.
3rd down and 14 for Garden City. Big play. Wilson in motion. He gets it. He's got a little seam. Oh, it didn't evolve. Boy. He had an angle, but a great job by DeGraffenried to pick him off.
Edsel Ford has great containment on both sides of the line. They string the play out. Anything that's going to go around in, they string out and force Garden City and just to string it out, and they've got very little yardage around either end.
So punting situation for Garden City. Myers will punt. Galliard deep. Dangerous player. He'll kick from his own 45. Or check that from the Edsel 45, and he does the wise thing and just pooches it out of bounds. And they gave it to him at the 15, so that worked out pretty good for Garden City.
They just said, you ain't running it back. We'll kick it out of bounds. So. Well, the crowd's kind of subdued right now. They're Garden City trailing by 8.
Thought it was heat stroke.
Well, that'll subdue you.
Hey, this Cougar team, we wanted to mention, last year's team was academic all-state. Scott Murray's pretty proud of that, especially of the involvement they have in community service projects in the area, and they've been recognized for their involvement in community service projects, and they're going for that academic all-state again this year. So that's what you want to hear, that your team has learned to play and they're good in the classroom.
Well, one thing the Garden City High School coaches throughout the years have stressed is student-athlete. And I'm sure Scott tells them that this field is a classroom, the gym floor is a classroom, the swimming pool is a classroom. So I'm very proud of the Garden City athletic program.
Well, and if you look at the athletic director since this building has been consolidated, from Bill Pinnell to Bob Drop and now to Rob Phillips. You have guys who are educators first and know the importance of that classroom involvement. As you see Mohammed try to pick up the first down, but he'll be short.
Well, Edsel Ford, I mean, we're still in the third quarter, but Edsel Ford doesn't need to score. All they need to do is hold on the ball as long as possible and run down the clock, and I don't think you're going to see them do anything fancy here. Or if they do, it'll be after lulling Garden City defense to sleep and then trying to pull a fast one on them. But basically, they don't need to do anything with the ball but pound it.
14-6 is our score with 3:20 remaining in the third quarter. Garden City's had some great offensive opportunities but have been unable to do anything with them except for their initial score. Give to Mohammed. Nope, he rolls out. This is Sanchez under pressure. Sanchez is going to be tackled for a loss. Back there for Garden City, 41-53. That's Eric Braun and Andrew Burek for the Cougars.
But then again, there's an element in this game called coaching. And a lot of time coaches outguess themselves, and they had no need to throw that ball. All they have to do is run it and kick the ball and contain, and now they've given Garden City great field position.
So 4th down and long for Edsel. Giangrande back. And Edsel will call timeout. Obviously want to make sure that they have this figured out. They don't want to snap the ball into the end zone by accident, give Garden City 2 points. You know, we mentioned them earlier. In corporate graphics, they provide the apparel for Omnidition Sports and GC TV. They have moved into Garden City now. They handle all of the souvenir sales, or all the clothing sales and apparel sales right here at Garden City High School during the games, but they're now located on Warren Road, just at the end of Cambridge Street. Check them out. Jim Neve and his dad, Jimmy Neve and his dad, Jim. They are Garden City people through and through. Visit them online at incorporategraphics.com. All your silk screening, your embroidery needs, or just if you want to pick up that Garden City West t-shirt, they're right there. They've got a showroom out front. Great retail space to visit, and again, they're great with the community. They've got Garden City Cougar flags, too. I don't know if we can get a shot of the American flag or one of the flags on the press box before the game's over, but they've got Cougar flags. There's good pressure again on the punter, but this one will go out of bounds around the 40-yard line, depending on where the official spots it. Well, that's just silly. That's a little more like it. So it'll be spotted around the 43-yard line, and that'll be a 1st and 10 now for the Cougars on the Edsel 43.
Now, can I do a tagline for the apparel?
Go ahead.
And they also sell stuff to fit me.
He showed me an order form the other day, and it goes up to like 5X.
And I appreciate
There's that Cougar flag hanging beneath the American flag, Old Glory here at Garden City High School. Also, I want to mention, and we'll get this in between plays, as you see the give there to Myers. Myers with a nice hole to get through. Gains about 6. That Military Appreciation Day that's coming up against Thurston. We want to stress a couple of things. First of all, there are T-shirts over at Incorporate. The game is on September 21st. If you are a veteran of the military or a member of your family was a veteran of the military, you can have their name put onto that shirt in recognition of their military service to our country. It's basically part of the purchase price of the shirt. And when they sell the shirts here at the game and at the stores, you see McNeil tackled for a loss. $10 of that will go to Blum's Landing. Now, what Blum's Landing is a, I don't know if you want to call it a bed and breakfast, but it was built for soldiers to have a place to go. It is considered a bed and breakfast, and it's here in the state of Michigan. And Mrs. Blumberg from, I think, Memorial was the last, Jan Blumberg, thank you, Christian, the last place she was a principal was at Memorial, but they opened this in the memory of their son who was killed overseas. And Blum's Landing, $10 from every shirt will go to Blum's Landing. If you want more information on either of these things, first of all, we don't have CG for this, so bear with me, folks. But Incorporate Graphics, which is incorporategraphics.com, and I thought I had the email for Blum's Landing, but if you get a chance, Google it. It's BLUMS. BLUMS, Blum's Landing, and it's an incredible thing that these folks did with their own money to set this up so that soldiers would have a place to go and have a little rehab and a little R&R after they've come back from the wars. And this one is punted, and it will roll out of bounds inside the 20-yard line, 1st and 10 for Edsel Ford.
Well, Garden City had a chance there, and they couldn't get that first down. Edsel Ford has been too tough, and now Edsel Ford is stopping them as they try to run up the middle. So if you can't run inside and you can't run outside, you better reinvent the game quick.
Hey, Gibby, you're going to have to talk a little louder to me. I'm not hearing you every time.
So 1st and 10 for the Thunderbirds. You can't say the game's been played between the 40s, but lots of back and forth. Both teams have shown signs of offense, but they haven't done much. That's Mohammed. And 55 with the tackle for the Cougars. That's Nelson.
And Edsel Ford just doing what they've been trying to do all game, just running in between the tackles. One big play in the first half, and then the turnover early here in the second half, and Edsel Ford's turned those two plays into 14 points, and Garden City's only been able to score once.
So they're going to let the clock run out here at Garden City High School the end of the third quarter, as Edsel has grinded out a 14-6 lead over Garden City. The Cougars have had plenty of opportunities and haven't been able to capitalize. Now we want to thank some other friends from Garden City, Bob Oliverio and all the folks at Lona's Pizza, which is located in Dearborn Heights at Ford Road and Beach Daily. They provide also some of the food service for OmniDish Television and GCTV to make sure the guys that volunteer their time to help you bring you this programming that you can find on GCTV in a number of places. They provide the pizza, the subs, the wings, all the great food that they have, that they bring out for us. We want to thank them for that. They've done that for several years. They deliver to all of Garden City, and they are some very, very nice people, genuinely nice people. Bob Oliverio and our friends at Lona's Pizza, located on Beach Daily and Ford Road, 313-274-0100, 313-274-0100.
So if I called them up right now, they would deliver right here to the press box.
They would deliver to this press box.
So if I had my phone on me instead of leaving it in the car.
Would you like to borrow mine?
I could call them up and they'd bring me like a small pizza and some water or something?
They would.
Oh, okay.
They would. So 2nd down for Edsel. Sanchez rolling to his left.
Is there a late
Did they
flag?
throw a flag?
I thought I saw a late flag.
There is a flag.
And
it pass interference.
I don't even think it was for the intended receiver.
Well, that's the thing. I don't know who that was intended for, whether it was intended for the guy that got knocked down or whether it was intended for DeGraffenried, who was farther down on the play.
Pass interference, defense, 15 yards, previous spot, automatic.
So Garden
First down.
City has done a good job of not committing stupid penalties here today. That one's tough. They did commit an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty. But that's a tough one for the Cougars.
They had the one penalty right after the, actually the third 15-yard penalty this half. So they're being aggressive.
So that'll be an automatic first down. 1st and 10 at about the 37 for Edsel. Sanchez gives it to the second man through Mohammed. Garden City going for the strip. 54, Tommy Vincent, the first one there for Garden City.
Now what you're seeing here, early in the game, that play got to the line of scrimmage and didn't go anywhere. But now it's a fourth quarter at 90-degree heat, and that same play that got negative yardage or no yardage is now picking up 5 and 6 yards.
So 2nd down and 6 for Edsel. And there's going to be an offside call or procedure call against
Dead
Edsel.
ball. False start. Offense. Second down.
You ask how you can do those kinds of things. When you get hot, and it's hot out there, you mentally fatigue, and all of a sudden you just do things that you normally wouldn't do.
And there's been enough breaks in the game that the officials haven't called for a forced water break. And there is a breeze down on the field. You could tell when Doppler Tom was on top of the press box at the beginning that was kind of a gusty breeze then. It slowed down a little, but there is still a breeze. And nice catch. Nice catch by DeGraffenried.
Oh,
and he might be hurt.
He's holding the back of it. It might be
cramps.
Cramp.
Yeah, he's holding the back of his calf, which probably would indicate a cramp. He might have got hit in that calf, but it didn't look like enough.
Well, they're going to get him on the sideline, throw some Gatorade or water down him. And that new 90s word, they're going to hydrate him.
They're going to hydrate. They don't just drink water anymore. They hydrate. You know, Gatorade has electrolytes. It says so on the bottle. So this will be a water break as we brought that up. 10 minutes, 46 seconds remaining in this one. Now let's take a look at the Edsel Ford schedule. They'll travel to Belleville and Dearborn. I believe Belleville has now dedicated their field. They were playing their games at Eastern for a couple of years. They'll have Romulus at their place at a big rival at Fordson. Then they'll go to Eaton Rapids, of all places. That's that extra non-conference game that they have to cover for. And then they'll have that Western Wayne Athletic Conference crossover, and they've eliminated the possibility of playing the same team 2 weeks in a row by scheduling a non-conference game the week before that. So, and it looks like they're looking for a Game 9 going into the end of the season.
Well, if they don't play that Game 9, they only have to win 5 games to get in the playoffs.
Right. You can play an 8-game schedule. It's unique. And Garden City talked about the fact that they may, or that might have been Annapolis at one point. Who knows? Harbin on the carry. Tripped up by Lucas. But I was talking to Scott Murray about the fact that they have the choice at the end of the season of either trying to get into the playoffs with a 9-game schedule where you would get the minimum playoff points for the forfeit, or they may be better off to take that and throw it off their schedule and try to qualify with an 8-game schedule, which you said 5 games is all it takes.
Well, they're not going to get any points at all for that victory. So
well, Scott said they got 60. You get 65 points for some reason.
Yeah, but you don't get any bonus. There's another
right, no bonus points or anything like that. Harbin on the carry, he loses his helmet after the hit by Wilson, and I've never spent any time paying attention to the point system. I don't know what you could normally get. I used to know it back when I was in high school, but
after week 6, these coaches spend.
Oh, the Garden City player knocked his helmet off. If we can re-rack that up and let me see it at the end if it stays that long. Garden City player actually knocked Harbin's helmet off intentionally, or hit him in the head intentionally.
And we should not be encouraging that kind of behavior.
No, but I want to see it again. But it was towards the end of the replay, so I don't know if we have it. So 1st and 10 for Edsel on the 40-yard line, make it to 39. And there's to give to Mohammed, and Mohammed now battles his way ahead for a gain of about 5.
Guess what? We have a little...
and there's some extracurriculars there.
And they better give them to both, but they usually just get the retaliation.
We'll see the call. Unsportsmanlike against Garden City only.
Once again, that was the retaliation.
All right, here's the helmet thing, and this maybe what led
Dead ball.
To this. Now watch this.
Defense, 15 yards. First down.
So that could have led to the unsportsmanlike from Edsel Ford on this last play, but it was Garden City that got the call. So now Edsel deep in Garden City territory, 1st and 10 from the 20.
That's the fourth 15-yard penalty this half.
Shotgun formation. In the flat over here. Pass completed.
There's going to be another
to
one.
Galliard. Did they throw one out of bounds?
Yeah, they could have.
So that's a gain of about 8 and 2nd and 2. So right now, Scott Murray, with all of his timeouts remaining, needs to get his team focused on the job at hand. Sanchez under center this time. Gives it to Harbin. Harbin gets through one tackle. Almost escapes another tackle. Battles his way ahead. Daniel Moore with the tackle, but not until Harbin picks up the first down.
Garden City's defensive line is just exhausted. The plays that would have been ended 4 or 5 yards up the field are now they're giving up. They're not making the tackles. Edsel Ford's back. Harbin is breaking 2 and 3 tackles, and the score here would, for all intents and purposes, ice this game.
So 1st and goal from about the 6. Sanchez under center. Gives it to the first man through. He doesn't get much. That's Mark Sample on the carry.
They got to make that play 3 more times.
It's only the second time Sample has touched the ball in this game. 8:38 remaining, and Edsel's going to call timeout, I believe.
Which is actually a break for Garden City, too, because they can get some water.
No, they didn't call it.
No, they didn't?
The referee, not the referee, but the back judge, blew his whistle, and I thought it was to indicate a timeout. So 2nd and goal from the 5. Sanchez, Harbin. Harbin found a hole and gained a couple. Harbin pushes his way ahead now, near to the 1-yard line. Boy, he cannot be denied tonight.
Well, I think the biggest part about it is that the defensive line is just getting tired. Now, you documented that there are a lot of players here, but the defense has been on the field a lot.
So 3rd and goal from about the 1. Harbin, he's in. So a couple of 15-yard penalties hurt Garden City. And Harbin pushes it in with 7:31 remaining in the game. And Edsel Ford now leads at 20-6.
That's his 3rd touchdown tonight. And he's not a fleet back by no means. He's a blue-collar, run between the tackles back.
And the point after attempt is good. Let's take a look at that score.
Here's the replay. Watch it. You'll see Harbin. Just a bulldozer of a back, and he gets hit and pushes the defender back.
So Garden City, with their work cut out for them, they trail it now 21-6.
And that was a workmanlike drive. They just got the ball and ran it in between the tackles. Nothing fancy. Used 2, 3 downs every, get the first down and just kept the ball going. And now they lead by 2 touchdowns.
So Garden City has proven they can move the ball. The question is, can they hold on to it long enough to punch it into the end zone? Plenty of time, but it's running out on them. So again, if you'd like to get involved in that military tribute game, of course, members of the military are encouraged to come out to that game and be admitted for free. But check out Incorporate Graphics, again, located on Ford Road, 734-261-4657, 734-261-4657 to get a name, whether it be yours or a member of your family, placed on the back of these great Cougar T-shirts that will show their support for our troops with $10 from each shirt going to Blum's Landing. So McNeil is deep, along with Brown-Bacot. Brown-Bacot has to wait for the ball to stop bouncing. Brown-Bacot up over the 30-yard line, and he'll get up to about the 32. So Garden City will start from here.
Well, Garden City will probably have to stretch the field now and see if they can get a quick score, because even if they score, Edsel Ford is just going to try to pound the ball and take 35, 40 seconds to play and try to run the clock out here, which they could do. So Garden City needs to score twice, and they need to score quickly.
So on this side is Brown-Bacot. On the other side is Daniels. Little to throw. He airs it out. He's got Brown-Bacot. Oh, and he didn't quite come back. He was thrown a little bit short, and Brown-Bacot just let it fall off his fingertips, and he's angry with himself. A catchable pass. Didn't lead him quite enough, but definitely a catchable pass for Brown-Bacot.
You see Bacot going back to the huddle thinking, I don't want to go back to the huddle.
Airs it out. Comes back to the ball. May have taken his eye off the ball and looked at the defender.
Hit him in the wrong spot, the hands.
So 2nd and 10. Same formation. Little's going to go to the other side. He's under pressure. He's trying to get out of it, and he turns it into about a 6-yard gain. He wanted to throw it. So 3rd down and 4 now, I think, for the Cougars.
Showed a real nice arm going to his, left-handed quarterback, throwing it about 40, 45 yards in the air there, the first pass.
6 minutes, 43 seconds, the clock rolling. Little, man in motion is Gian Grande, and it's going to be a procedure call against Garden City.
Left a little early.
Still working the bugs out. Again, the Detroit Western International game didn't do
Dead
much
ball. False start.
for
Offense.
Garden City as far as trying to work some of these problems out. You'll see Gian Grande in motion. There's just a split second before that, I think. Six minutes, 30 seconds now with the clock running. 3rd down and 9 after the penalty. Interesting, only 2 wideouts now. A couple of slot backs instead this time for a little better coverage, I guess. Little steps up into the pocket and throws it over the top of Kevin Brown-Bacot.
And there was nobody actually going out to safety valve. I thought Scott Murray decided that he needed the blocking on that pass, give Little some time. So it was only a 2-man route. I was going to remark how remarkable your cameraman is here, because every time you cut to the crowd shot, it is so steady.
It is absolutely
perfect. It's the same shot. It gives you that. And I was going to admire how good that, and then something hit me.
Nice punt by Myers. Takes a Edsel bounce and will roll back up to the 35-yard line. So 1st and 10 for the Thunderbirds with 6 minutes remaining. And Garden City now will have to overcommit and play a little more aggressive on defense. Try to possibly create a turnover.
Right now what you want is the first man to stand up the ball carrier, the second man to strip him, because they're going to take 30, 35 seconds between plays. You get 10, 15 seconds on the play itself. So you cannot afford, when you need 2 scores, to run off close to 45 seconds of play. And we'll show this right here as the clock starts at 6 minutes.
And a timeout called by Edsel Ford on the 6-minute mark. 21-6, they lead Garden City in this non-conference game between the Cougars and the Edsel Ford Thunderbirds. As you see, Cindy Phillips, the trainer here at Garden City High School, the wife of Rob Phillips, the athletic director here at Garden City. For an East guy, he's all right.
That'll never die, will it?
Oh, no. We got into a texting war the other day about that.
I'm proud to say I'm married to a West girl.
I'm proud to say you are, too.
She got in an argument the other day with about the East and West bands.
Okay, now again, I went to West. Please tell me she didn't try to say that West had a better band.
Basically, it was the East was a walking band and West was a marching band.
Oh boy. Okay. Wow.
But that was my wife, Jan Fournier, 31430 Pierce.
Good idea, Ted. Why don't you give out her cell phone number while you're at it?
The ex-Jan Stombaugh.
On the carry is Harbin.
Now we've run one play. So far, 20 seconds off the clock, and let's see what time they snap the next one. They're in the huddle, and they are in no hurry, walking up to the line.
And it's 2nd and 1, so they've got 3 downs to make a first down to keep the ball. Edsel has played much better in the second half. Harbin tries to power his way forward. He'll be short of the first down. Nelson with the tackle. Garden City will call timeout strictly to stop the clock.
Which is an excellent idea because it's now 5:10, 50 seconds off for that play, and now the clock will get started at the snap, and they can control it more.
We mentioned Garden City will play their first road game next week, September 7th, at Redford Union. Then they'll come back for 2 more, Crestwood and Thurston, and then Garden City goes on the road until October 19th. Homecoming is actually the last game of the season, so we'll be televising that one here on Omnidition Sports, as well as that Thurston game for that military appreciation game. We'll have actually high school boys soccer coming up here on GCTV as the Cougars take on Thurston, and then we'll have a GCYAA doubleheader. So 4 new broadcasts of Garden City Cougar sports, including the Little League. Scott Murray, the commissioner also of the football program for the GCYA. Mike Collard, the president of the GCYA. So 3rd down and about a long yard. Sanchez gives it to Harbin. Harbin's second move got through. On the second effort from Harbin, they had him in the backfield but couldn't hold on to him. And that's a big first down for the Thunderbirds.
5:04 on the clock.
And the clock still moving.
Well, they stopped the clock to spot it, move the chains, and then because the home team provides those chain guys, and things can happen.
4 minutes, 44 seconds remaining. The give there to Sample, and Sample keeps the clock moving, gains about 5.
It's possible that Edsel Ford, if Garden City can't stop him, Edsel Ford will run this clock out.
Really, it's a game of 2 halves as Garden City played a clean game in the first half. They were unable to put enough points on the board. Here in the and Edsel Ford had a lot of trouble with penalty flags. In the second half, it's been Garden City who had trouble with penalties, and they really have not driven the ball the way they did in the first half.
Edsel Ford had a slim one point lead, and Garden City basically with a fumble and 4 or 5 15-yard penalties is gift wrapped this game and handed it over to Edsel Ford.
Harbin picks up about a yard. It looks like James Souders in on the stop for Garden City.
We're under the 4-minute mark.
Garden City desperately needs a turnover right now. And Edsel looks far more comfortable with the ball here in the second half, too.
Well, their momentum and adrenaline. Adrenaline's the other thing that can, you get the lead, and all of a sudden you're a little stronger, you're a little quicker.
Sanchez gives it to Mohammed this time. Mohammed brought down for a loss. Good job by Watercamp and I believe Braun there for the Cougars. And Garden City will call another timeout. With 3:06 remaining, that will leave them with one timeout should they get the ball back.
I got some filler, Dan.
Go ahead, Ted.
I want to make this announcement to anybody who knows a 6th, 7th, or 8th grade young lady in Garden City that enjoys basketball or would like to play basketball this fall. We're going to hold a tryout on September 8th at 9 o'clock at the high school gym. The practices and games will be Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday for the next 6 weeks. We'll play games every Wednesday, and the whole purpose of this league is to get the girls in Garden City to play ball before they get to the high school. So we'd like to see 35 or 40 young ladies come out. All the teams will be coached by Garden City Cougar alumni and Garden City ladies, and it'll be an instructional league. The cost is $40, and that'll include all the games and the uniforms. So if you know of a 6th, 7th, or 8th grade girl, or you are a 6th, 7th, or 8th grade girl, we'd like to see you on the 9 o'clock on Saturday, September 8th, and play some round ball this fall and learn the basics from some ladies that have graduated from Garden City.
All right, so 4th down and about 2. Edsel is lined up in punt formation. Deep for Garden City is Tyler Wilson. Punt gets off. It will go beyond him. And a tough break for Garden City. This will get down at the 10-yard line. So Garden City with 3 minutes remaining in this one, pinned back at their own 10-yard line, needing 2 touchdowns to get back into this.
This important game for Garden City is that, remember, their goal, their dream, is to make the playoffs. They made it last year. We talked about Scott Murray in his 3rd year. We talked about the new attitude, new uniforms, new dedication. And Scott Murray would like to see some results of all the efforts. A wonderful coaching staff that is dedicated to making this both a good program at the junior high and the varsity level.
So 3 games in a row in conference for Garden City. Would be 4 if it wasn't for the Annapolis forfeit. Little under pressure, but has some time. Has a man open and overthrows him. Kevin Brown-Bako unable to get anywhere near that one. So 2nd down and 10. 2:53 remaining in this one. Cougars have struggled here in the second half. Tim and I just sharing a moment.
A guy moment.
That's right.
There was no hugging.
Guys in charge moment. Little under pressure again. Rolls out. He'll hold on to it. He'll get that 1st down. He needs to get out of bounds.
That 5 yards that he picked up instead of going out of bounds will probably cost him 35 seconds.
Now let's watch this again. Little wanted to throw because he needs big yardage here. And Edsel's big men up front, putting a lot of pressure on him. At this point, he's over the line of scrimmage. And right here, he's got to go for the sideline right there.
Right.
And there's a flag on the play against Garden City, so none of it matters.
Tripping, offense, half the goal.
Oh, Scott Murray is going to be out of his mind tonight.
Well, it's now got to the point that this second half is just it's disastrous. So that's the 6th 15-yard penalty, not counting a couple 5-yard penalties. There's been other instances where we thought there could be a penalty. Play the game hard, but you cannot play it. Tripping is, I missed my block. I'm going to reach out and try to make something happen and hope nobody sees it.
It's one thing to haul a guy down on a pass interference if it's going to actually save you yardage. As McNeil had to run around his own man. Tomas McNeil may take this to the house. McNeil over the 40. He's brought down at about the 37-yard line. Tomas McNeil.
Huge play just when you needed it.
Just as we're lamenting Garden City's offensive woes. McNeil breaks it.
And what you saw is a back came into the hole and sprung him. He still ran over the guard and tackle, but they had a lead block from the outside, the wing, and that sprung him.
So 1st and 10 at the 37 for Garden City. 2:32 remaining. They've got to get into that 2-minute offense now. And Edsel may call a timeout. Let's see.
Well, it would be
now, equipment. Oh, there's a flag in the backfield. Might have been too many men on the field for Edsel. I saw a guy racing off. That'd be nice for Garden City.
Illegal substitution.
There you go. So too many men on the field for Edsel. Used to be too many men on the field. Now it's illegal substitution.
Well, some coaches would like to have 13, 14 people in the huddle, and when they see what seriously, that's why this rule is. If they see what the play is, then two will run off late. So
1st and 5. McNeil on the carry. He picks up about 3.5. 2:12 clock running.
There's no 2-minute warning here.
Could use it right now. 2nd down and a long one for Garden City.
You got
inside 2 minutes.
You got to call multiple plays in the huddle and just line up.
Little.
There's 5. They gave that 5-yard back.
Dead ball. False start. Offense. 5-yard penalty.
These are all the mistakes that every team in the whole nation wants to get rid of between game 1 and game 2. Garden City has not got rid of them. And these 15-yard penalties, these mistakes, this fumble has cost Garden City this game.
2nd down and 7. 1:44 remaining. Clock is running. Did they throw one there? Because they should have. Giangrande on the move. Giangrande tries to get out of bounds. Garden City could have been called for a motion penalty there. They jumped. And Giangrande picks up the 1st down. I think this is the Giangrande play here. There it is. You saw Garden City's offensive line come up early. So Giangrande picks up the 1st down at the 26. 1:25 remaining. This may be just to make the score a little tighter at this point. Garden City needs to get it in quick.
You still need to work on stuff.
Well, and you can still kick an onside kick. This one's into the end zone. Brown Bako there. Oh, actually hit Brown Bako. The defender was Sam Lopez. Deflected, I assume.
Little's passes are high arcing passes. And all his receivers, instead of catching him in motion, going away, are having to turn around and wait for the ball to come down. He needs to get the ball still 30 yards in the air, but he needs to get the ball less, rainmakers.
Less hang time.
Yeah.
2nd down and 10. He's a senior. Didn't get to play much last year with Tyler Steele on the team. And I think Brown Bako saw the defender out of the corner of his eye. And a player down for Edsel Ford. Here's just a simple slant play. And I don't know if Brown Bako, again, saw that gentleman there out of the corner of his eye who injured himself with whatever that was. If he thought that Brown Bako had the ball, I don't know.
I think it's a cramp again. You see they're working on the foot. They're giving him water, and the trainer's stretching him out.
Yeah, he got a little tied up.
Well, you're dehydrated at this point. You played 4 quarters, and it's hot out there, and you are losing water out of your body at a tremendous rate. And unless these kids are drinking every time they hit the sidelines, they're going to get cramped up.
Scott Murray goes out to talk to. Oh, it's Galliard. Maybe he wants to talk to him about last week's game.
See, they're stretching his calf or his thigh. The trainer is stretching him. They gave him water, and he'll be okay. And they're just trying to get that cramp out of there. And Dan, you and I, as old athletes, we probably had hundreds of cramps on the same situation.
Yeah, but we weren't allowed to.
It was a sign of, if you drank water during the game of the practice, you were told you were going to, it was a sign of weakness.
I know. We didn't recognize cramps 40 years ago.
Water? Are you kidding me? Go run with 2 more laps.
That's right, exactly. 3rd down and 10.
And I was always that, that cherub, chubby-looking kid that the coach made me wear a plastic suit and sit between 2 plastic mats for an hour
to make weight.
to try to get close to weight.
This is McNeil. McNeil with some blocking.
McNeil
at the 10. McNeil may get into the end zone. McNeil down to the 2 with a minute remaining. It's not over yet, Ted.
And McNeil was begging for a penalty. You saw him motion at the end. But he had an opportunity to cut it across the grain and score. Not right here, cut.
I'll tell you, Tomas has had some of the slowest evolving plays tonight that he's turned into 10, 15, 20, 30-yard gains.
He runs with determination, and the word that hit me was elusiveness. And
he has great vision. He sees what's going on. 1 minute exactly remaining in this one. Little gives it to McNeil. Oh, I hope it's not motion on Garden City. I didn't see any motion, but...
we're not pointing it out, but there are little love taps and extracurriculars going on behind the play.
Dead ball. False start.
Yeah, it's a false start against Garden City, unfortunately.
Still first down.
Nice tackle.
By then the illegal motion had already occurred. So there's Daniels out on the far end. Christian Little on this end. McNeil into the end zone. Touchdown Garden City with 55.3 seconds remaining.
All right, Coach, you going for 1 here or 2? 2, you go for 2 and don't make it, you're done.
You're going to have to go for it eventually.
All right, I'm just asking because if you get to 1, then you have 21-18. And then an onside kick, a Hail Mary pass, and a run, and you're tied. But if you miss it, you're 21-12, which is 9 points. And
you've got to go for a 2-point conversion on the next score, though, too, right? We're going to go for 2. McNeil fighting. McNeil does not make it.
So it's 21-12, and having 3 soccer kickers on your roster didn't help tonight. I've always been an opponent as every football coach should walk over to the soccer team and find the best kicker on that team and tell them, you show up once a week to practice and show up to the game and we'll give you your letter. But because there are schools with great soccer teams but no kicker on their football team.
So obviously Garden City has to go for the onside kick here, but it's still a 2-score game.
That's what I was trying to raise the controversy of, but since this is a no controversy show.
But had he made the 1, they still needed the 2-point conversion on the next play.
Yeah, but now you still need that, but you only need 1 score and then a chance to tie.
Okay.
Now you need 2 scores to.
Okay.
That's just call me crazy. We're having a spat up here, Christian.
So Garden City obviously will go for the onside kick here and see how much damage they can do in 55 seconds.
I've always been an opponent is just line up all 11 people right in the middle, look across the line, find the shortest guy, and just kick it right at him and have all
it used to be look for the guy whose hands are taped.
Yeah.
Now there's the onside kick, and it did not even make it the 10 yards, and that was the time that 55 Kyle Nelson actually did kick it off. The decoy kicked it off for Garden City.
But the problem with that is your decoy's at the ball, but your pack is 3 yards behind him, so you don't have...
You're right, you're at a little disadvantage.
You're at a disadvantage.
Unless you get the ball to kick into the air to give everybody time to catch up. So 54.2 remaining in this one. And Edsel will call timeout, their last one of the game. So Harbin with 3 touchdowns for Edsel. Little to Lucas for a 17-yard pass play, and McNeil with about a 6 or 7 yard carry for Garden City. Those are the scores in this one, as the Cougars trail 21-12.
You know, the first score Edsel Ford had tonight was a broken play, and it was 7-0. The last 2 scores were Cougar-aided. The first one, a fumble about the 35-yard line or 30-yard line. They gave up the ball. Edsel Ford, with momentum and the help of a penalty, punched it in. The second one was a 40-yard drive, 45-yard drive, but 30 yards were penalties. So this is one of those games where the coaches are going to go in and watch the replay tonight and go, no, you know, this is unacceptable.
So 54.2 remaining in this one. And Edsel will just take a knee. And they'll have to line it up one more time. And that will be it. So our finals going to be Edsel Ford 21, Garden City 12 here in the second game of the season. For the Cougars will fall to 1-1 on the season. Edsel Ford will push their record to 2-0. Garden City will head to Redford Union next week, September 7th, to play their first game in conference, as Sanchez will take a knee there. And that is all she wrote. There isn't any more. 16 seconds remaining on the clock. Edsel doesn't have to take another snap, and that's the end of our ball game. So Ted Fournier, we saw some great things from Garden City today, but we saw just some horrible penalties in the second half, and they were able to move the ball multiple times here tonight. But Edsel, obviously, with those penalties in the second half, that was a big help to them into that turnover.
Well, Scott Murray wanted to cut down the fumbles. He did. He got only 2. The ball hit the ground twice tonight instead of 4 times. Well, he lost one of them. That led to a touchdown. And then the silly penalties, unnecessary penalties, and there could have been 2 or 3 more 15-yard penalties. Trust me, folks. And that's something that Scott Murray is going to have to address this week, and hope that the same undisciplined second half doesn't show up at Redford Union next week.
So Mark Tyler obviously very happy, and the Thunderbirds will have a great Labor Day weekend with a 21-12 win here at Garden City. So I want to take this opportunity to thank all of the folks who made this broadcast possible here tonight. Again, a great effort by our all-volunteer crew, rather short-staffed on this Labor Day weekend. My thanks to Jared Seguin and Harold Larson. My thanks to Jason Merrill for coming out early today and helping to set everything up. And, of course, my thanks, as always, to our producer-director, Christian Gibbons, who has worked on this for a couple of weeks, came out a couple of days early to get this thing ready to go. And it was a 21-12 loss for the Cougars here today. And, of course, as always, my thanks to you, Ted Fournier. Thanks for being with us.
No problem. I enjoy it, and this is the first of a long season that Omni Edition Sports is going to put on this
That's
year.
right. We'll be back on September 21st for football. Garden City's next home game will be September 14th when they take on the Crestwood Chargers. So that's it from Garden City High School.
Dan,
again, the final. Yes, sir.
Did I mention it was hot out here tonight?
You did mention it was hot. 84 degrees still at 10 o'clock at night. 21-12 the final. I'm Dan York. Thanks for watching. Good night, everybody.